Okay, so by now you've created the three parts that you're ready to assemble. You can see them in my Onshape. So again, if you're in home, press my Onshape. That's where you created your parts. We're going to create this assembly right here. Well, it's not going to show up. So this is one of the parts, and then we have the other part right here, and then we have the other part right here. So if you created them in separate documents, we're going to bring them all into one assembly. An assembly is where you combine multiple parts into the same space. So I'm going to start with my single. I'm going to start with the larger green cube, the green square. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is make an assembly, right? Using these across the bottom, I already have assembly 1, assembly 2, assembly 3. I'm going to ignore those. You'll have assembly 1, and you can just click on it, and it'll look like this. It'll be blank. We need to bring in this part into this assembly. So, right, so assembly is our workspace to bring in multiple parts. So we're going to click on the upper left-hand corner, this little arrow pointing down, and it says Insert. Okay, and then we're going to bring in, we're going to click where it says Part 1, and it pops in. Hit the check mark, and it's in there. Now we want to lock it in space. So we click on the 3 dots next to Part 1 and say Fix. Okay, and now I cannot move it. If I click on it, I cannot drag that shape in any direction. I can't rotate it. It's locked. All right, we only want to lock the first part. Now we want to insert another part. But the problem is it's not in this document. I created the other part in a different location. So we have to click on Other Documents, right? And that document is located in my Onshape. So now it's going to open up other documents that I've created, and I see that red one, so I click on that. Now here you've got to click on the lower part that says Start, and then it'll generate Part 1. Right. Okay, sometimes when you try to insert, you do not get anything when you press that Start message. So let me show you what I mean. If I go Other Documents, Shared with Me, let's say I try to insert this shape. When I press Start, it says No Parts Found. Sometimes that happens. All you have to do is go back here, click on this blue message that says Create a Version in blah, blah, blah. Create a version. And here you can give it a title. You don't really need to. You need to press Save Version. Okay, and then you will see the parts appear. Okay, you can insert the part studio if you want all those parts together. All right, if I zoom out, hit the check, you can see that I've got all those parts. Now you might notice that the parts didn't move together. There were some parts that did not move with this piece. So what you can actually do is group them before you do anything else. I would recommend that. So if I go back to this is the point at which I had just inserted it. If I click on, if I select parts 1, 2, and 3, sorry, we can tell from the brackets which one is from the one I just inserted, and then you group them. Whoops. Now we hit the check mark. Now if I click on that piece and drag it out, oh, I grouped the wrong pieces. So I want to undo that. Let's see if I can do it correctly. So let's hit the group function again, and let's select 1, 2, 3 right there on the bottom, hit the check, tap on my shape and drag it out. There we go. So grouping your parts is a way to make sure they stick together without having to reassemble them, so to speak. Right there, that red guy. So I bring it in, and it puts it in exactly at the origin, just like the green one. I hit the check mark. It's not a problem. If we tap on the red, we can actually drag it out. Not a problem. Okay? So let's go ahead and assemble the green and the red. So we go to our tools up here at the top, and we want to do what's called a fastened mate, which is going to restrict its movement in the X, Y, or Z direction, and it won't allow it to rotate along the X, Y, or Z axis. So I click on fastened mate, and I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to hold down my finger. I'm going to get this blue bar out of the way. I'm going to hold down my finger until I get my crosshairs. I highlight this front edge, and I slowly slide it down until I get like a little blue line popping up, right? You might get some other stuff going on. So try it again. Go to that edge and go down until you get a little blue line aligned with the edge. Okay? So far I've selected the front green corner of the inside space along the edge that points up. So I want to match up the edge and corner on the red part where it's going to attach to where that green part is. So I hold down my finger, get the crosshairs, I come into this vertical edge, and I slowly go down until it's also pointing up, and I let go, and I hit the check mark, and it attaches it right there. Okay? Now, I'm going to undo it. If it turns out that you turned on your fasten mate command and you fasten it incorrectly, I'm going to try to fasten it incorrectly so I can show you how to fix it. So I've got one that I do correctly, but then maybe the second one I do, instead of pointing up, I point down or something. Let's see if I can get it pointing down. Well, it's it's getting the right thing every time. Well, and this, so far it's not an issue. So I'm on that axis. Well, it turns out I got it 2 times in a row. But if it turns out that you did it wrong, it has these little ways to fix it on the lower left-hand corner. You can rotate, so it attaches the edge that you wanted, but maybe it's oriented the wrong direction. You can actually flip the direction in case you've got like maybe the right corner but the wrong edge, or the right edge but it's facing the wrong way. You can spin it around. So just know that those functions are there to help you fix it. All right, so now we got to bring in the little blue cube. So again, other documents, my Onshape. There it is. I press start. Part 1 brings it in. I hit check. If I click on that blue shape, I can drag it out, and there it is. So double tap to deselect. Now I'm going to try to put the blue shape in. So again, I hit the fasten to mate command, get this out of the way, hold down, go to this edge right here. I could go to any of these edges, right? Here, let's do this. Let's go to the top edge, facing inward, facing to the right. There you go, facing the right. So now I need to do the same thing for the corner that I want. So top edge, facing right. Let's try that again. Top edge, facing right. Check, and then I'm good to go. And there you go.